I'm talking about the materials of 3D printing because a ecosystem in 3D printing is different with the other manufacturing systems which we follow in our mechanical engineering processes, because we have multiple things, multiple process are there for the processing the materials. Coming to our 3D printing, it has created its own ecosystem. Like, for example, if you go with some FDM based technologies, we have a certain wire form is to be needed, and for the resins we have a few liquid form is required. For our metal it requires powder form in nanomicron particles. Like that we have multiple things. So today's session, now for next another 2 hours, I'll be taking you through with this complete 3D printing materials, and also what are the materials and its advances in FDM, and also the manufacturing of FDM materials and VAT collaboration and metal printer materials. I'll also touch the basics of the ceramic, bio and wax materials also, because as an education fraternity, we need to know the basics of all materials, how those materials can be printed, and those materials what we can can be done, and which form we need to have, and how those materials are getting manufactured. And those materials, if you come across with these materials, which form we have to do and which form is required for manufacturing the particle, because the end part which we are looking at, the end part which we are planning to manufacture, we need to have the material ideology also, material which we are looking at. So just to brief the 3D printing advantages and different technologies, I'll just give a brief information about this. As you know, we have multiple techniques in 3D printing: FDM, SLA, SLS, SLM, TJP, binder jetting, LOM, and clip technologies. These all technologies, everything whatever you talk, this requires materials. All materials, and each technology has the raw material to form the, as per our design, we have to design, we have to manufacture the product of 3D printing. So these complete 3D printing techniques has a complete mandate to have the material ecosystem. If you see, if you in the earlier session, or in the practice session, I have seen you people working with the geometries, and you have CAD file, and you have next session, I guess you have the session on the Cura software, where you have the software size slicing and everything. Next comes the material, medium, and processing. This is most important, because the material which you have to select, which material you have to use for the manufacturing of the part, plays very crucial role when compared to this complete whether it is like which raw material, which form, and medium. That's why I'm just giving in the right side of the corner: material, medium, and post processing. These three are the very crucial things, because you design the part in the software, and you have the digital file in your hand, and you have the digital file of G code after you slice the part. But next, what next? You have to have materials, and what is the medium you are doing, and what is the post processing techniques to have the complete part output. So these complete processes we have. So just getting into depth of thing, just let us have an idea what is 3D printing advantages before we get into this. Because advantages of 3D printing, you all know, it is there is no need of large setup required, or processing in regular CNC tooling or die creations. Nothing is required as such. When we come across with any is there any complexity in the design, or there is no limitation in the complexity or creativity, and then shorter time for the fabrication. Also, we have the possibility of mass customization, and also we can have multi-material options, which we cannot have in our regular processing in our traditional manufacturing. If you come to the limitations of 3D printing, what are the limitations? You should just have a glance because in my next session, I'm talking about materials. I'm just giving a slide on this. This 3D printing is a slow process, because still there is a time-taking process which takes certain time for processing the object. Like after coming out of the printer, we have to wait for certain time, and then they need to go for post processing techniques, where we have to remove the powder, and complete part coming out of the complete process is taking more time. Even in FDM or SLA or SLS has some post processing techniques. That's why even during the printing process, if you compare to the injection molding process, injection molding can manufacture 10 bottle caps in 1 second or 2 seconds, but 3D printer can manufacture one bottle cap with 20 minutes of time. And still there are surface issues, needs post processing. There is one more limitation which we have, and still 3D printing can be done at a smaller quantities. We can do only on the batch production. I can tell it is as a batch production basically, because it is and also limited by the input materials. We have this, there is a limit limited by the types of, because we can't combine certain metals and then plastics and then form an object. So that is a limitation by input of materials. That is, these are some of the limitations which we have to discuss before we get in. So just to get into the deep, because now I am going to get into materials perspective, just to have a brief video about the FDM based technology. We have already seen it, but just as a visualize, this courtesy from Think3D. How the process, you all know. Morning you have seen about the file being taken, STL file you take, that STL file, the format, you take that file, go for the slicing, and then we give the print to the printer command. This is layer by layer approach. As you know, the raw material which you have to concentrate here is the wire form. Wire form raw material is coming out of the nozzle and then it is forming the object. So in materials perspective for this today's session, finally your product is out, like the plastic material is molten, liquid form is forming layer by layers to form the object. As you know, I was talking about the complete FDM now. So if you talk about the 3D printing needs for separate form of material. Yes, we can't manufacture all the materials in 3D printing which are there in the traditional manufacturing, as I was telling. So you should be always cautious and you should be very clear on whether we can manufacture all materials in 3D printing. Always say no. Why? Because if you don't have particular material in that particular format, or is there, if their properties are having certain limitations, and then your powder form or rods or etc., if the material is not forming the specific form like wire or liquid resin or nanomicron particle or rods etc., it is very tough for using that particular material in the 3D printing. So always, that's why we talk about materials as a separate topic in the 3D printing, because 3D printing has created, of course, we have all materials existing, but all materials we can't manufacture in 3D printing. There are certain limitations, there are certain processes which we follow. In that process, that particular material should suit, and also it should have the properties which are required in the form, like specific forms, or maybe the temperature or melting point, or it may be glass transition temperature, or it should behave in certain environments, it should behave as particular wire or liquid or different forms. So getting into depth of these materials. See, in these materials, I have shown you plastic printing, but in materials, we have plastics, resins, metals, ceramics, and also wax materials. And these materials, whatever we talk, like plastics, resins, metals, ceramics, etc., these materials, each material has to have to be in a certain form. After it is in a certain form, that particular form will be converted to the object or the design which you have designed. So you should be very clear on each form of material, as I told about. So to just getting into the raw materials, how these raw materials are there, how these 3D printing raw materials are getting manufactured. So if you see this small video, I'll just see. So 3D printing raw materials, whatever you have seen in the video, in the small video where there is a manufacturing of a hippopotamus, you have seen one white wire coming in. How that particular white wire is getting manufactured? What is the process followed to get that particular form? Because previously it is a pallet form where that particular pallet form like ABS or nylon or TPU or TPE or PLA or HAPS or LDPE, HDPE, flexible materials, so many materials are there. Those materials are extruded into the wire form. As you have seen in the video, raw material which we are inserting into the printer is in the wire form. So the manufacturing of that particular wire form is very important, and material should be in the wire form for especially for the FDM based technology, fused deposition modeling technology. These technologies needs the raw material in certain wire forms. So be clear on this. And in this also, how this process happens, how this extrusion and raw material is manufactured. I'll just show a small video and then explain you how the process is moved. Raw material is manufactured. You get this pallets forms of raw material from various vendors across India, especially for the traditional manufacturing. These pallets are moved across at certain temperatures where that particular material is liquefied, pellets are liquefied, and then it is extruded out into the wire form like this. This wire form, why I'm showing you in this thing is the researchers who do their research related to the raw materials, they want to do their own materials, they want to manufacture those materials. This is winded to a spool. So how does this complete process happens? Like what is the complete process which you have seen in the video is complete an extrusion process where the hopper you have seen in the left corner, there the pellet forms of material, ABS or nylon or flexible or PLA, whatever the material, that material is poured into the hopper, and then this material is coming out of the screw and it is moved into the heater brands where the temperature is varied, and those temperatures varied, that complete material comes into the liquid form and there will be a die. There you manufacture the material in whatever the dimension you want. For example, in certain 3D printers, raw material will be used in 1.75 mm, and there is certain material printers which will be using 2.85 mm material. So there are certain different material diameters which you can extrude depending upon the machine specifications. For example, Ultimaker 3D printer from Netherlands takes 2.85 mm dia raw material. Remaining almost 95% of the printers take 1.75 mm dia material. So these two materials, here the die will be having the, if you see here, the die will be having the dimension plus or minus 0.05 mm will be the tolerance. Then the material is passed over to the coolant area and then pulling roller, and then the complete material is winded to our spool or raw material what we talk about for the 3D printers. So this is the filament manufacturing, which is the complete process which happens before we use this material for our 3D printer. So whatever the material you have in the form of it should be converted into a pallet, or else finally when you are feeding into the 3D printer, it should be in the raw material form as wire. So that is the complete process. What exactly happens in this material? Like I have to link you at as a heated brands. Heating at the heated bands, the material will be passing over to the following process. If you see here, there is a temperature called glass transition temperature, where the pellets are coming out, right? Then once the temperature is heating, then it is coming to a liquid flow and then rubbery flow, and then it will be passing into a glossy stage, and then material is coming out. So this complete process is followed with the cautious of temperature. For example, if you take ABS, the melting point is 215 degrees centigrade to 230 degrees centigrade, where the material will be changing from solid form to liquid form, and then it will be forming as per our design. In this here, where in the video I have shown you, your design, it is not the design here, it is the raw material manufacturing pallet form, where your pallet is melted and then wire form is extruded out, and those wire form is winded to the spool for our ready manufacturing of the 3D printing. So the material which we are using, or the material whatever you want to manufacture, whatever you want to manufacture in the 3D printer, make sure you know about the melting point, glass transition point, and also the phases of material processing. Like you should know the printing temperature, material temperature, melting temperature, and also glass transition temperature. If you know about these three temperatures, this makes sure that the material which you are manufacturing as a raw material, make sure that that material we can give the exact printing temperature to the printer to make sure the material is extruded properly as per our design, whatever we have given. So this is the raw material image, because some people may be knowing it, 90% people may not be aware about these things. So I'm just giving you from the basics, where the raw material will be coming like a spool like this. This is left side image, what you have seen. This is the wire form. This is the wire form, and it will be coming in 1.75 mm or 2.85 mm diameter. So, not to get into in depth of chemistry, what exactly happens? What is the material moving, and what exactly happens here is polymers. The complete long chain of molecules which having the cross-linking bonds are being the polymers which we are using in our FDM based technology. Those polymers are thermoplastic and thermosettings, and also they are natural and synthetic polymers. And there are certain biodegradable materials like PLA, polylactic acid, which is taken from the corn starch. That is also a raw material which is used in our 3D printers for certain purposes. That is polylactic acid. We have PMMA, polymethyl methoxide ethylene. It is also used for the biocompatible material. So in the coming slides, I am going to show what are the materials which we are using. So these are the polymers which we use, and these are called thermoplastics or thermoplastic settings. Why these are means, after they are affected to the heat, even though they are affected to the heat, their properties will not change 99.9%. They will be having the same properties even though you affect it to the temperatures. So what are the materials? What are the FDM based materials? What are the purposes? For which purpose, which material we have to use? So first and foremost, when you are thinking about the 3D printing, when you want a part to be having certain properties, you should be cautious and you should be very clear which raw material which you have to use. Anyhow, you will be considering it in all the manufacturing processes, but you should be very clear which particular material in 3D printing ecosystem you have to use and which material we have to work upon. For example, general purposes, we have PLA, HAPS, PET, PVA. These are the regular materials which we use for the visual purposes or dimensional purposes, or for aesthetic purposes. We can use those materials. If you come for the functionality purposes, ABS, this is one of the engineering plastic which we use. Acrytyl butadiene styrene, acrylonitrile butadiene and TPE and TPU materials. So there are so much of materials which we can use for the functional purposes, because there are certain materials which are specifically used, because now I'm going to cover maximum of materials which are being used in the FDM technology, and those properties also I'm going to share. As I told you, there are certain aesthetic materials like laywood, wood material also we use in 3D printing, where it will be combined with 70% of PLA and 30% of wood particles, 70% of wood particles and 30% of PLA material, polylactic material, and it is combined to form the wire form. Those wire form is being used as a raw material, as I shown in the previous slides. And also we have thermo temperature changing PLA, because once the temperature is affecting, only the colors of the material will be changing and it will be forming the outputs. And also there are metal filled PLAs, where certain metals are being binded or extruded in the combination inside the material, and those materials are also used for the aesthetic purpose. And also there are application specific materials like conductive ABS and a lot of materials. Anyhow, in the coming slides I'll be showing each and every functional property of each material. So like this, there are so many of 3D printers materials in FDM which we across. If you see this is a popular triangle which we see across, is like, there is a pyramid structure, the complete pyramid which you have seen here. You have the engineering materials like nylon, TPU and PETG, and also PP and polycarbonate. And also we have the commodity materials like PP, polypropylene, polyethylene, polylactic acid, acrylonitrile, styrene, ABS, PS, and also polysulfurin and HIPS and polyvinyl, PVC material what we see regularly in our pipe structures. So like this, if you see the printing temperature, performance and cost to the triangle versus the materials what we see in the triangle, the price of PEEK and PEI materials are very, very costly when compared to the regular ABS, PLA, polypropylene, HFIS and PVAC materials. And engineering materials, nylons are costly but not as high of PEEK and PEA. You all know. And also the PEEK and PEI, the harder it is for manufacturing also. And while we are doing in 3D printing, it will be having high cost, and then the raw material cost will be increasing. Even 250 grams will cost you around 20,000, 25,000. High performance materials like PEEK and PEI. Coming to this engineering commodity, right now it is reachable and people are use it for the regular processes, and 3D printers are manufacturing these processes. So this is the high performance which we call it as a pyramid regarding the materials. Coming to each and every material, as today's session is purely into the materials, I'm just discussing on pure materials, for which purposes, what is their properties, and what are their melting and printing temperatures. For example, now I'm starting with PLA. This is a material called polylactic acid, PLA, what we call about, and monomers. It is a combination of monomer of lactic acid and lactate. This is the combination which is now material is being formed, and it is produced from corn, potatoes, and also sugar beets. This is extracted from one of our biodegradable regular materials. From the natural materials, we take out these materials, and also it is a biodegradable material. After a period of time, if you have manufactured certain parts, these materials, if you keep it in the water, after some time it will be, not sometime is hours, it is years together, then it will be biodegrading. And while printing, it will not have any foul smell. It will be having a sweet smell, and also it is naturally transparent. It will be having certain natural transparency when compared to other engineering plastics. What is its basic printing temperature? See, you all know in the starting video I have shown you regarding FDM based technology, each print material has printing temperature, melting temperature, and also bed temperature. Bed temperature is the one which is very, very important for certain materials, because while nozzle is printing on the build plate, that particular bed should be maintained at certain temperature. Why? For example, at the nozzle, temperature will be maintained at 230 degrees centigrade, and your surrounding is maintained at 30 degrees centigrade. And then the material is changing its states from multiple environment, there is always a chance of warping. That's why your bed should be maintained at certain temperature for certain materials, so that the build plate sticking, means the sticking of the material on the bed will be easy. That's why we normally suggest to maintain the bed temperature appropriate to the raw material which they use across. And coming to the look of the output of the part, this PLA material is having the glossier look. Sorry, for coming to PLA material, there is no need of guided temperature to maintain. Printing temperature is 180 degrees to 230 degrees. Melting temperature is 150 to 160 degrees centigrade. Coming to bed in PLA, this material doesn't require any of the bed temperature. Normal build plate you can keep, and there are so many printers like Flashforce Finder or Ender, which doesn't require any of the temperature for the bed, and it can be easily printed. So this printed object will be having glossier look when compared to the other materials, and look and feel of the object will be very good when compared to other engineering plastics. Higher the printing speeds, lower layer heights, sharp printed corners. There is advantage where you have the sharp printed corners can be obtained, because they will not be having much contraction of this material, because it is a biodegradable material, and also it will not contract. On the build plate, warping doesn't happen so much in PLA when compared to ABS materials. And also this material has good durability, less flexibility, slightly brittle, and also increase in flow rate results in the binding and strength, because flow rate, you all know, when the nozzle is extruding the material from the nozzle and it is dropping on the material build plate, once your flow rate is increased, binding and strength also increases accordingly. Coming to the storage, almost the storage and reactions for almost all the materials will be same, but coming to some materials which are composites or which are no regular natural materials, there is a chance of decoloration, and also bubbles and then sputting at the nozzle will also happen. And this certain things may change the thermal properties. That's why we ask the material, whoever prints the material, and ask them to store with certain silica gels, so that the moisture doesn't attract, and then decoloration or bubbles or sputting doesn't happen in regular manufacturing area, where you have to keep the 3D print material in a certain storage condition to have the complete manufacturing. Next, very important material. So many of the engineering, education systems, everybody talk about. This is ABS material, acrylonitrile butadiene styrene. This material, especially if you talk about, because this is one of the popular material which has almost 1 ton Rockwell hardness, and can have certain whatever the achievements you are looking at. And also when you are going for first part manufacturing, when you want to subject it for the certain functional purposes, this ABS material has very good properties which will help us for testing our in certain functional properties or certain functional informations. And also this acrylonitrile styrene is having very shiny and impressive surfaces, and also bonding strength and rubbery and toughness will be huge, because this ABS material has impressive surface and also bonding strength, and there is a certain elasticity in this ABS material, and as I told you, it is having very good strength. Apart from it, also there is slight elasticity and toughness in this material. And also this is not a biocompatible, as I told, there is not a biocompatible material. It is when there are certain properties in change, then there is a properties in change, then it is a biocompatible material. It is biocompatible in some combinations, not on all combinations. Coming to the gives plastic smell, and also the fumes from ABS melting area is harmful, and also it is proven to be in safe zone. You should be away when the nozzle is fuming out the flames from the nozzle. When fumes are coming out of the nozzle, the smell and those are very harmful. So we request to take the safety precautions, because there is certain CN material, that is nitrate material, which may affect the lungs. So this ABS material is very popular in 3D printing, and even if you see, I just shown you the no chemical combination where people will be learning about this acrylonitrile and then butadiene and styrene. These three combinations, it will be coming out this formula to have this complete. They also call it as terrapolymer, and then it will be forming as this chemical structure. And there is a very, as I told you about the printing temperature, melting temperature, I am giving each and every material about printing temperature, melting temperature, and bed temperature. Why? Because you always should have, the manufacturer will be providing you the melting temperature, printing temperature, bed temperature. The minimum they will give printing temperature and bed temperature, because the manufacturer knows at which range this material will be melting, and at which range this material will be giving the output. That's why we maintain this complete melting of printing of the material properties in the complete raw material itself. Coming to the image in the right side of the screen, there is a very peculiar property where your ABS material, right side is the ABS material, where this ABS material you can turn it into a glossy stage or glossier look by making it a vapor bath. Vapor bath is nothing but where your object is subjected to certain acidic environment, where your layers, whatever you are seeing on the screen on the right side, that layers once upon a time it will be closing together, and then it will be coming out with a glossier look, because this makes the dimensional intolerances. But still, for any of the for example, this image, an owl image, where you can make the object look more glossier and qualitative after making it to the vapor bath, and then it will be producing the object out. Because we can't do this with for all engineering, because engineering designed to be manufactured object, because there is always a change of dimensions, and there is always an uncertainty where your material will be inaccurately having the dimensions. This vapor bath is done in the isopropyl alcohol environment, and it will be getting this glossier look. So there are certain vaporizers where we use to make sure we get this glossier look of the material. And coming to this material, whether it is machinable, yes, it is durability strong and also machinable material. After you manufacture this material, you can go for the minimum machining processes where you can chip off the materials, or get the smoothened materials, or you can use some buffing type of things where you can remove the outer layers and make it smooth. And also it is having very good impact strength, and also it is affordable for our regular purposes. We have a lot of regular processes and regular purposes. We use this ABS material. Next is thermoplastics, the thermoplastic elastomers or thermoplastic urethanes. These are complete elastic materials or rubbery stage materials which are being used. For these materials, this rubbery elastic materials, we have the material in FDM technology, and also we have the materials in SLA technology as well. So both we have. This elasticity is coming more in SLA technology rather than FDM technology, because FDM technology, there are certain limitations which it is not getting the maximum flexibility when we compare to this. So coming to the complete temperature, print temperature and bed temperature. Printing temperature will range around 210 degrees and bed should be maintained at 60 to 100 degrees. And there are certain flexible, they call it as flexural strength, or certain elasticity is being maintained for each material. For TPU or TPE materials, we get the properties like then the manufacturer himself gives what is the elasticity you will get and what is the elasticity, the output that you will get for these materials. Coming to which environment it can sustain, especially why this elasticity. If you see the image to the right side of the screen, if you go for certain hydraulic or the compressive strength or springs, if you see, those compressive springs or anything, your outer covers will be of these elastic materials, and these are very resistant to the oils and greases. And even though those environments, these materials sustain, even though it is a layer by layer process, these materials are sustaining in those environments also. Coming to this chemical resistance and UV resistance, this materials like TPE or TPU has complete ultraviolet resistance, and also these materials should be manufactured on the glass platforms only. Why? Because while removing the material, there is a chance of tear off from the build plate if you don't use the glass build plate. And also for certain chemical resistance related materials, the environment of oiling or painting, they are using this TPE or TPU materials. And then lubrication of filament guide, also there are certain flexible materials which they are using it for their purposes. So next is one of the wonderful materials, that is PVA material, which we talk it as dissolvable material, or it is a material which can be a material which can be melted off or dissolved off after a period of time. This material is polyvinyl alcohol, which is a monomer of vinyl acetate, and also it is available in beads and solutions. Anyhow, it actually, what exactly why we use this material is, we use this material in dual extruder printers, where your one of the material will be PVA, which will be used for the supports only. Why? Because there are certain critical supports which you can't remove, or for the hands it may not be reachable. There you use this PVA material, polyvinyl alcohol material, as a support structure. If you see this image, white color material is PVA material, other material is ABS material. When you manufacture it, internally you can't remove certain support materials in between of the blue color. That's why if you keep this material in the water, which is maintained at 50 degrees to 100 degrees centigrade, then that material slowly dissolves after 4 hours or 5 hours, and you get your object like this, as the image in the right third point. So this material, these materials will be having the properties like polyvinyl acid properties. These materials are printed temperature around 180 to 230, and also melting temperature is around 200 degrees centigrade. Heated bed, and it is not heated bed is not required for this material, as I told you. And even though if you have the heated bed having for ABS material in combination with PVA material, it will sustain, and also it will be resisting for the supports. And then it is used as a supporting, as I told you, it is used for supporting success, and the Poisson's ratio is 0.4 to 0.48. Anyhow, that is not required. So there are certain materials which you can cast. There is a material called polymakers companies polycast material. This raw material in the FDM based technologies, we are recently using it in a very positive note, because it is saving lot of time, because it produces the complete investment patterns for the complete casting applications, where it will be after a period of time, those casted material will be coming out of the form of a liquid or certain liquid things, and then your object is getting formed. And these patterns which we are using with polycast materials are being done used for in a huge way in a lot of the molding industries, and for especially decreasing the price. And also, if you see across with so many people, they spend thousands of rupees or lakhs of rupees for their tooling only. There, that particular tooling process can be reduced, and those if you see the second point, 3D printing significantly cuts down both the cost and also lead time by eliminating the tooling processes. And this complete process can be having, we can eliminate the complete tooling process and directly have a to be cast part using this polycast material. And also there is a you may be having a question, if you have a support material, how we can do? There is a separate material called polydissolve, which can be used as a support material inside along with the polycast, where you can manufacture this investment patterns, or for various investment casting applications. You can that particular polydissolve will be dissolving, and then your cast will be ready. Cast can go to the patterns, investment patterns, and then you can get manufactured. This is saving lot of time for the mold manufacturers or investment castings patterns manufacturing systems, where you can have multiple times, you can go for the iteration for very less cost. And this material is supplied by Polymaker, a company from China. So like this, now I have shown you the peculiar materials across with different properties. Now functional materials in FDM. What are the functional materials that we use in the FDM things? There are so many materials which are available. Certain ecosystem is there, separate ecosystem is there, where certain companies manufacture for their own properties. For example, in Stratasys manufacture their own raw material, and their own raw material machine will be machine manufactures their raw materials. That particular raw material they only develop. For example, there is ABS M30. It is manufactured by them. There are certain materials which Stratasys manufactures, and their machine works with that material. Maybe this ABS M30 will work with all machines or all other machines also, but they manufacture with certain properties, and their machines work with their for specific functional applications. They are manufacturing certain materials, and they are getting used in the 3D printing industry. If you see the material like ABS M30, this material is a very versatile material, and it is used for our regular jigs and fixtures, and also tools and production parts. Majorly, for example, anatomical models, concept models, these models, they use this properties to take it up. Coming to the ABS ESD7, this is electrostatic dissipative. See, if there are certain electronic devices where certain static electricity is being developed inside. For that, this material can help you for getting the manufacturing done. So this ESD7 is very popular in this particular perspective. 1 minute. Coming to next, ASA material. Excuse me. ASA material, this ultraviolet stable materials, because so many parts which are getting manufactured will be going into the outside environment, or for exposure to the sunlight, or wear and tear to the sun, or any other environment. For that, there is a UV stable material called ASA material, which is used especially for the outside use production parts. And next, there is certain material called ABS M30i. These are biocompatible 3D printing materials, perfectly suited for medical, pharmaceutical, and also food packing. So this we are telling it as a biocompatible. Excuse me. We are telling it as a biocompatible material. This biocompatible material can be with the human body up to 48 hours or max 72 hours. Afterwards, there may be a chance of infection developed with the ABS M30i, because it requires certain timelines only. After certain timelines only you can use it. That is biocompatible, and also it is ISO 10993 certified material. So especially it is being used for the food packing and pharmaceutical industries, one-time food packing industry materials. So this ABS M30i they are using. And next is elastomer. I have already discussed about elastomer, but in specific, if you want more elongation, if you want more durability, or certain flexural strength, or if you want certain properties to achieve, there is a separate material from Stratasys which is TPU922A, where you have a elastomer. This elastomer has high elongation, superior duct toughness, and then extreme durability. So this FDM material has this FDM TPU92 has this elastomer capacity of elasticity capacity, and then has complete extreme durability. Coming to next materials, functional materials only. If you see nylon 12, nylon 6, these materials are having specific characteristic. If you see the nylon 12, high fatigue resistance, combination of strength with excellent fatigue properties suitable for repetitive closures and also snap fits and vibration resistance parts, and a lot of materials which has multiple closing and opening. For example, there is certain lid of a box to be opened and closed multiple times, and those things where you have a repetitive closures and all, we can use nylon 12 material, which can be used for used in 3D printing, and we can have the manufacturing being done using this material. And next, coming to nylon 6, this is very tough and also used for the strong tooling fixtures. You all know there is a lot of family of nylon which has their certain properties, or they have strengths, impact, IJOT testings which they have done. For example, for this FDM nylon 6 possesses excellent strength, stiffness, and also maintains very good impact resistance among the nylon family of materials. Coming to next material, this is polycarbonate PC. You all know it is having high strength and also high tensile strength and also superior ductility. It is regularly used for the rapid tooling and also used for the accuracy, durability, and stability, producing very strong parts which can withstand functional testing. And also we have PCABS, high impact, and PCABS is a high impact engineering thermoplastic, ideal for functional prototyping, tooling, and low volume manufacturing. It combines the strength and heat resistance of PC and flexibility of ABS. So this combination of polycarbonate and ABS very rarely used in our traditional manufacturing. This material is used in 3D printing to achieve certain goals of functional prototyping for the first part manufacturing, and also certain very less volume manufacturing or low volume manufacturing, and also it has very high heat resistant, which can be making it flexible of the ABS. So this combination material, especially in 3D printing, it is achievable rather than the traditional manufacturing where you have multiple material combinations and it is also costly. When you combine this material of PC and ABS, the output functionalities or the application which you look at can be worked at. It can be looked and then manufactured. Next, coming to PCABS, PCISO. This is a biocompatible materials again used for the prototypes, molds, and also products for the heat resistant material, especially for the pharmaceutical, food packing, and medical industries. So we have this FDM materials being used for various purposes. And also coming to the next topmost, or what we call as engineering grade materials or industry grade materials. These industry grade materials, if you see across this Ultem 9085, Ultem 1010, and also this ST 103, nylon 12 CF, and also Antero 800Na, these all are materials from Stratasys only. These materials, whatever we talk, they have certain certifications, also added value of certifications, which makes the part more, more of certain, I can tell you as for more reachable. Like if you have the FSC rated certifications for certain applications, it is easier for them to prove it. Especially in the aerospace division, you should to have material, machine, and also process certifications. So this is the this is the one which is being used for certain complete FSC materials, or needs certain properties of strongest FDM thermoplastics, and also having very high resistance and thermal stability. Coming to the next material, that is Ultem 1010. I'm telling you, we have this chemical biocompatible and chemical resistance with the high temperature material. This is the one which is being used in heat resistance areas or thermal stability. For example, if you have a car door to be painted, when you have a fixture to be placed, one fixture is to be there, and then car door will be placed on it. It is subjected to load condition, chemical condition, heated condition, and also it is under multiple conditions also, that material has to sustain, because it is under the very heavy load, and also the chemical spray of paint is being done, and also you have the wear and tear where you have the movement of door being rotated or these things. So there the jig and fixture will be manufactured with this type of materials where it has chemical resistance, high temperature materials. In certain areas you need only biocompatible materials, especially in medical grade. Then this type of materials, especially for the final industrial grade use, they use this materials. And then coming to this sacrificial tooling, this is an autoclave operation altogether. This autoclave operation, if you see, this autoclave operation is being deployed. If you see this sacrificial tooling material, it can withstand the autoclave operation, also simplifies the hollow composite construction by dissolving after cure, leaving only the finished part. So in certain areas where you have this complete, where you have the complete, end to end, where your material will be sacrificed and then it is forming the object, that is sacrificial tooling material, which is being used for this complete processes. Coming to next, nylon toll carbon fiber material. This is high flexural strength of any FDM thermoplastic, resulting in the highest stiffness to weight ratio. Now this carbon fiber has replaced metal parts, and also for very lightweight tools and also to bring a very strong and then stiff tools, you can use this nylon toll carbon fiber material, which is used for the strength to weight ratio in the FDM based technology. In 3D printing ecosystem also, we can have this material, nylon toll carbon fiber. Anyhow, it is seen as a composite material, but in FDM based technology, we get it in a wire form where you can manufacture your part for this particular properties, and then you can use it. And next is PEKK or Antiro 800 Na. This material is having very excellent strength and toughness and also wear resistance. Coming to Antiro 800 Na is a PEG based material for very high strength, high resistance, chemical resistance, and minimal outgassing. Outgassing is especially used in our aerospace industry, where the material behavior changes from the regular atmosphere to the aerial atmosphere, where your part, after going into the aerial atmosphere, there is a chance that material will be releasing certain gases out from the existing part. So there the outgassing concept comes into play. So that aerospace materials, this material is very popular, and this material is being used. So like this, we have multiple, anyhow, I have already discussed about this Ultem 9085, and we have Ultem 1010 material for custom tools of medical, plastic, and also composites. And also it has very temperature resistant dies, patterns, and fixtures for food production. And also it has outcapping, aerospace, and all this aerospace interiors. And this is aerospace certified Ultem 9085. This is again the same material, but it has aerospace certification, which can be used for the aerospace industry. As I told you of Antiro 800 Na, this has, if you see, high chemical resistance, high temperature resistance, low outgassing, ultra low outgassing, and also high wear resistance properties. Apart from this, we have this we have a material called support of 8DDD. This is the support structure which we use in this, along with this material which we use for the production of the parts. And in the right side of the screen, you can see we can use for the production of the parts ducting, housing, clips, brackets, electrical conductors, and also for the functional prototyping, testing, and also for the jigs and fixtures, especially for the toolings, clean room facilities. This material can be used. There is one of the recent developments in FDM base. This material is also coming up with polyphenol sulfone. This material is being used for the higher loads and also exposed to the chemicals, high chemicals, and also higher load temperatures, higher load with high temperature. Multiple properties we can use with this. This material has come in the regular processes, regular FDM process they are using. This is a composite, and we talk it as FDM. This is FDM nylon plus 12 carbon fiber material. This is the one of the flight hardware, which is images you can see, which is manufactured using this nylon 12 CF carbon field composite material. So, okay, until now we have seen engineering materials, we have seen functional graded materials, we have seen multiple materials which are having a lot of industrial availability, and which materials. And coming to 3D printing materials, we have this wood filament also. This wood filament has the blends of bamboo and also this bridge, kedar, coconut, and cork, and ebony. There are a lot of flexibility, and tensile strength is reduced, and also insoluble, not food safe material, durability based on the print geometry. And also this wood material is a blend of certain wood particles. It's not like thin thing of the, it's into a very fine form of wood. But after printing of the object, you feel the wood being, wood type of object is in your hand. Then coming to printing temperature of this material, it ranges between 195 to 210 degrees centigrade, and also hot bed is not required for these materials. And difficulty, we don't have much difficulty on this material to print, and we can have the shades of wood by increasing the temperature of the nozzle. While we increase the temperature of the nozzle, the shadiness of the wood increases, and then you can get the part. And it is not food shape on the left side, have insoluble and not food safe, because the particles of wood are harmful as they are into very small nanoparticles. So just to conclude the FDM based materials, what this FDM materials we have discussed, and what this complete FDM materials, where we have to store, what is the reactions come up across, what happens when you are exposed to certain chemicals or certain acids, or which will be having certain issues. So these materials are unaffected by aqueous acids, alkalis, concentric HCl, alcohol, and vegetable oils, and swollen by galvanic acetic acid, calcium tetrachloride, aromatic hydrocarbons, and also can be attacked by sulfuric acid and nitric acid, and soluble in esters, ketones, ethyl dichlorides, acetones, and also releases HCl and CO. So it should be very clear where we are keeping the materials, where is our storage, in which medium this particular material is going. If it is going to certain environment or a medium, what would be the reactions for that particular part after a period of time, or what are the immediate reactions? So you should be very clear when your end use part is going, when your material is printed and then your end use part is going to certain environment, you should consider these material properties or these material reactive properties, which may affect your dimensions or the strength of the dimensions or strength or vibrations it is exposed. And there is always a chance that whatever the end result you are looking at, they may have the issues coming up because of these reactions which is coming into play. And then next is storage, as I had already shown in the first slide, but bubbles and then spurting. So to reduce the quality, try to maintain this particular, and also maintain this under the silica gel environment or its closed environment. Maintain as much silica as possible. Now the filament dryers, some of the market companies are releasing where you can keep the material at certain temperature, and then we can maintain the properties of it. So this is the reactions which we have, and these are the features for your glance. What are the materials, shore hardness, density, pin temperature, chemical resistance, abrasive resistance, and also the shrinkage ratio. These are the features. And then, so next I'll be going into the SLA material. These are the materials. You all know raw material is liquid. Right now, I have discussed about, from starting, I have given the brief introduction of the FDM materials, FDM, how the material is manufactured and what are the materials are there. those materials, what are their properties, what are their reactions and storage. I have given the brief information about the materials, and those are completely into the ecosystem of FDM, fused deposition modeling. Now I am just giving the information on SLA, that is VAT polymerization. This is VAT polymerization. Uh, just to have the video, I'll just run the video to just know about the technology, how it works.
Depending on the machine, resin is either poured into a tank by a user or dispensed automatically from a cartridge. At the beginning of the print, a build platform is lowered into the resin, leaving only a thin layer of liquid in between the platform and the bottom of the tank. Galvanometers direct the UV laser through a transparent window at the bottom of the resin tank, drawing a cross-section of the 3D model and selectively hardening the material. The print is built in consecutive layers, each less than 100 microns thick. When a layer is complete, part is peeled from the bottom of the tank, letting fresh resin flow beneath, and the platform is lowered once again. Originally developed in the 80s, SLA was confined to large industrial machines until recently. Today, desktop stereolithography offers affordable, high-resolution 3D printing that fits conveniently in your space. SLA allows for the use of a wide range of materials with diverse physical properties. Whether you're an engineer, product designer, sculptor, jeweler, or dentist, there's a material for your application.
This VAT polymerization is material. You have seen the liquid resin as a raw material. Here, as I have to discuss about the technology and material today, this is a concept of materials in 3D printing. The raw material here used is a resin, and this resin, there is a combination of certain materials, like, this material will be combination of photopolymers, and also it will be having photo reactors, and also it will be having certain materials which will be reacting. So how exactly it happens is these photopolymers, whatever the raw material you are seeing, it will be made up of photoinitiators, reactive dilutants, flexitizers, stabilizers, and also liquid monomers. This liquid material, how it is getting manufactured, is the one which is out of our chemical, it is into the complete chemical knowledge, where they combine certain materials and then come out with certain properties, and then resin is being manufactured. If you see across the video which I have shown in SLA technology, there the light is being exposed, the laser is being exposed to the material. That material is getting solidified. How that material is getting solidified? That material solidifies and then it forms the object. So this combination of the complete materials of photoinitiator or reactive dilutant or flexitizers, stabilizers, and liquid monomers, which makes the object formed as a solid by reaction. How that reaction happens, I can show you, but not as a material which we, completely, which we feel it as the material which cannot be manufacturing is a mixing of certain materials. But how that reaction happens, how that solidification happens, I'll show that video. That will be more interesting rather than that combination of chemistry, which will be a problematic. So I'll just run the video and explain you what happens exactly. This, just imagine the light material is exposed to the light. What exactly happens? This is the internal bonding which is happening. It's a chemistry related, but we need to know, because this is the one which will be leading you to the strength of the object. As I told you, it is a combination of photoinitiator, monomers, and a lot of other materials like flexurant or stabilizers. Here the propagation happens after the photoionization. It combines together, means once the light is exposed, the photoinitiator is exposing, then it is combining as per the photoinitiation combines, it just combines to form the complete reaction. this is what whatever you are seeing happening at final stage. I have shown in the video where the laser light is exposed, and then that light, especially once it is once it is hitting the build here, when you see the light getting exposed to the build plate, at this point the complete reaction is happening. Where the material light is going and hitting to the build plate, it is reverse of the where the light is now hitting the build plate. There this photo reaction and photopolymerization completely, and then makes the object solidified in the build plate and stick to the build plate to form the object. So this reaction, this photoionization, or the combination of the complete reactants inside is the resins, is the resin which is having multiple types of resins which we have. Because of the combination of the raw material inside, will be having this output. If I talk about what in depth or what are the types of resins which are available in the market, where you get the quality of outputs being coming up. For example, you have general purpose standard resin, which is used for our regular manufacturing. And always remember, after the material is manufactured, we have to expose it to the UV light. Then only the strength will come for the 3D printing materials. Otherwise, that materials will not have the strength as per the data sheets which will be given by the manufacturers, because it has to be certain timelines which has to be get exposed, and that particular timeline exposure to the light. The exposure to the light will be making the complete exposure to the light, which makes the strength, like UV light is being exposed, then not the strength of the object is being coming out. Coming to the functional purpose, tough resin and flexible resin, and also high temperature resistant resin, durable resin. There are HSST, and also there are so many functional purposes like biocompatible materials for the application specific, dental resins, surgical guide resins. There are so many resins which have come up. Especially I have shown you the Formlabs printer, which is popular in SLA technology, which is giving a lot of exposure towards this castable type of resin and this. So this one more material area apart from the plastics which we have discussed with you about these processes. This SLA technology has the resins. These are the resins whatever you see are being manufactured, and this is one of the fastest development. And you have seen this material, transparent material. This is 99% transparent, which is one of the biggest development, because everything in the 3D printing is a layer by layer approach, where your layers upon layer makes the visibility very less. If you see here, this material which I have shown you, these are dog bones, which is having 100% transparency. You have a good quality of transparency, 99% transparency, and this material is called Clear Accura 60 material. Can be manufactured in one of the 3D systems material, MJP 2500, I believe. This material is doing wonders. For example, if you are manufacturing certain materials for the flow of materials, like certain materials have to flow in certain directions, or certain materials have to be, you have to observe the flow, how it is going on, with are there any bubbles, are there any certain obstacles coming in because of the flow rate, or any decrease of the flow rate, or increase of the flow rate. In this functional wise, if you see, you have the transparent material in your hand, then it will be creating wonders for you, where your research are related to any outputs you are expecting. This 99% transparent material is giving excellent outputs, and this material is now available in 3D printing. This is one of the advancement, even though it is a layer by layer approach in 3D printing. Now the visualization and the 100% transparency makes a lot of things to get improved, and this material is doing wonders, especially in the flow industry, or pipelines industry, for getting the output. So FDM I have covered a lot of materials, and SLA I have shown some of the resins, how the reactions have been done. Next I'm just getting into the composite materials. You all know about composite materials. You learned about a lot of composite materials. Now, when we have two or more chemically distinct materials, they combine together, and then they improve the properties, especially strength to weight ratio, when you have the lightweight component or strength weight ratio has to be considered. Your component has to have less weight, but it should maintain, but it should resist for very high strengths or very high impact load resistance or load bearing capacities. Then you have the composite materials. Whether all composites, especially in 3D printing, we have the all composites materials we can come across. There are almost 80 to 90% manufacturers who are making the raw material for the 3D printing, especially for they go for the injection molding industry, especially composite printers. Manufacturers and decades are expertise in developing the reinforced polymers, often for the injection molding industry. And by applying that expertise to additive manufacturing, using the high quality fibers, coatings, and processes, they fine tune their polymer matrix and extrude them on the industrial grade machines. That results in a filament that more readily carries the mechanical properties you need to for the 3D printed part. As I was telling from the starting of the session, when your raw material is perfect, your object will be coming out with the same certain properties, and output of the properties also can be maintained, and that particular properties can be having these properties of the raw material, and that can be achieved in the composite 3D printing also. This 3D printing composite materials, there are a lot of combination of carbon fiber, we have Kevlar, we have continuous fiber reinforced plastics. So especially just to see, there are types of composite materials. If you can see, we have this laminar composite, like layer by layer. You all know 3D printing is layer by layer. Laminar composites or flake composites are the ones which we come across in this 3D printing composite materials where we use across. Just to show, to understand the exact composite printing, I'll just run a video and then get into the materials perspective to understand you more about the raw materials combinations which we have to use for our 3D printing purposes. Just running the video for your purpose. You see in the video, I just paused the video, you see a micro automated fiber placement. This is the technology used where the combination of two materials, two raw material, two materials, primary material, and then to achieve more strength, there will be a secondary material. So you see the microfiber tape being now moved across the material, and then it is making the material moved upon on regular material. This is regular material, and then fiber tape moves across to this is regular material, and then fiber tape across to make the strength more, and then to achieve the more properties and more strength across. This composite printing is used, and you see how is it possible. As I told you, layer upon layer, where certain material will be coming and then primary material, and then comes with the secondary material. There, once one material and another material combination, especially when the two combination materials combine together, and then it comes to a composite 3D printing. See, whether we can do all composites, whether we have all metal matrix or polymer matrix, whatever the matrix are possible, yes, certain level polymer matrix we can combine, and then we can get that particular properties out. Here today, it is a material session. I am just discussing which combination: PEC plus carbon fiber, PEEK plus carbon fiber, nylon plus carbon fiber, nylon 6 plus fiberglass, and we have Kevlar, certain materials. So each material, just if you see the PEC material with the combination of high tensile and compressive strength and resistance to the chemical abrasion, and also ability to withstand to high temperatures, when reinforced with carbon fiber, resulting in parts and exceptionally durable and well suited for extreme environmental, including high temperature applications. If I talk about the composite materials, 3D printing, you have a glider, you have certain terminal properties like tensile properties or thermocarbonate properties. A lot of technical terminology is involved in composite printing. But in 3D printing, there are certain few combinations. There are combinations only you can, those only can be printed. There are certain, there is printers called as Desktop Metal. There is a printer called as Markforged, which there are having the composite 3D printing. These composite 3D printings, wherever you see across, wherever your temperature are in the extreme environmental conditions, you can choose certain combination and then use for the functional prototyping. As I told you, we have previously was PEC, now it is PEEK. PEEK is also used for the regular manufacturing in the composite 3D printing. In this same thing, whatever we talk, it is having high to strength to weight ratio, and even some combinations you can see in this screen. This is flame retardant also. Inherently flame retardant. In the video, I have shown all materials where we have the flame retardant materials, high flexural strength, where we have surface abrasion, there we can use these materials, and also it regularly, have the, you can see whatever we talk about, those parts will be exposed to the very high jigs and fixtures to the manufacturing, high wear and tear. I have seen in the screen, you can see, make it great for high wear and tear manufacturing jigs and fixtures. This PEEK and carbon fiber materials, once the combination, here this combination of materials, whatever we talk about, has a specific property to, for example, this PEEK and carbon fiber, we have the high wear and tear and then surface abrasion. If you have that particular functionality of the part going into the area, then you can use this combination of carbon fiber. Still, there are certain combinations of nylon plus carbon fiber. See, if you go to the nylon PA6 plus nylon plus carbon fiber material, end arm tooling, which is the one of the important thing in the electronics manufacturing, you can use this nylon plus carbon fiber material, which can be used for this manufacturing. See, whatever we talk about when we are getting it in a raw material format, we can actually see the material is being used manufactured as per the pellet form. They are mixing certain natural fibers also, wood or certain materials they use also for some. I have seen some research being done on the banana leaf. They blend the raw material, combine, and then they pass on to the forming the object to have certain properties. They have these coconut fibers, this coconut trees fiber, something they are combining. I've seen so much of research being done with different people across India in the educational institutions for their research related to this, especially for combining the properties. Means composite is nothing but combining the different properties. They are doing the natural materials also, combining to get more strength for the natural. Banana leaf doesn't have certain strength, but combining with certain material results in the output of strength. But even combined with banana leaf plus this thing, so resulting in certain properties. So the research is going on, so much of materials, and then combination of natural wood or naturally formed bamboo sticks. They are the bamboo field they are using. So like this, composite printing they are doing in 3D printing for their research purposes. Not only this, whatever talk about stiffness to weight ratio or stiffness to stiffness to certain abrasion or certain properties which you want to look at in engineering perspective. You can even look at the research perspective where you can work across certain materials combination, and then they are getting out, because 3D printing has that ability to combine it. So anyhow, these printers, whatever I am talking about, like Markforged or Desktop Metal or any other companies of composite 3D printing, may not allow your material, but you can tinker your regular FDM material with the combination of raw material ready. If your raw material is ready, they are combining the two and then producing the output. Coming to the material, matrix materials, they have the properties of mechanical, chemical, flame retardant, high compression strength, and also ESD safe. And also PEC material matrix, excellent material properties, chemical resistance, surface abrasion, and then flame retardant. So each material, I'm just giving you this low cost. This nylon is low cost and mechanical strength, excellent you can get. And fiber reinforcement. We all talk about this composite 3D printing, especially for the continuous fiber reinforcements or continuous fibers being combined, especially for strength to weight ratio, which we take across. And also fiber reinforcement, what exactly they have this properties. If you talk about carbon fiber, is high strength and stiffness, low coefficient of thermal expansion, and high fatigue level, and it is also somewhat brittle. Coming to the fiberglass, we have the low cost, corrosive resistance, and also non-conductive, and also no radio signal references. This is one of the property which is very much required. If you see this complete material performance sheet, and if you have tensile modulus, tensile strength, tensile strain, flexural modulus, flexural strength, and density, compared with certain material engineering properties on the right side, reference to the steel or aluminum, how much you are achieving, how much you are getting the output. And if you go to tensile strength, 655 with the steel, PEC plus carbon fiber, you are getting 2300 MPa, which is exceptionally almost 3 times to the material what you see across. So the properties which we achieve in this composite printing is, especially in 3D printing, with the combination of micro automated fiber placement technology or continuous fiber tapes, which we use for the combination of materials, you get these outputs, and the exceptional values show the 3D printing. We can get this. Pardon?
Aruna के पास जाके.
Sorry. Okay. So we have material applications. So we have this material. Can you meet this guy? 24 number. Rakesh or Srikanth, can you please mute this guy? 24. Yeah, this material applications, if you see across, we have this carbon fiber, Kevlar, fiberglass, HSST material, fiber materials. These materials, if you see, all they work for this drones technologies or for certain impact resistance technology, impact resistance, especially for certain objects which are for the highest of operations, and also where you have this highest strength to cast, or for the stiffness related to the best and also extreme conditions. We use these material applications for which these materials are being used. So apart from this, there are regular composite matrix which we talk about for the metal matrix or polymer matrix, whatever we discuss, we come across for the traditional composite manufacturing, which is at very time taking and everything. Now the companies have started producing the raw material for 3D printing also, especially if you consider the printer called Ultimaker from Netherlands, which has the collaborations with certain material manufacturers across India, across the globe, to get certain properties, they are giving the raw material in the white form directly after manufacturing. Especially if you see BASF is one of the famous material manufacturer, has now giving the material for UltraSafe 316L, which is having very strong, tough, high stiffness materials. And also we have woven carnings and Extrand GF30 and then PA6 materials, which is having temperature, wear, chemical impact, and also UV material, UV exposure material resistance. And composite materials don't feel that we don't have any material, but each and every property you look across, if you combine certain materials, you are able to get that materials right away in the form of wire. If you, I'm just listing out the materials, these materials are already available, maybe a bit costlier, but for research related purposes or for any of the property outputs which you are expecting can be directly used, especially for the BASF, UltraSafe, or for all the materials, whatever we see for the stiffness or ESD safe materials. And there are so much of flame retardant materials are also available. Coming to polypropylene material combinations, flexible material combinations, just I'm showing the list which may be helpful for your research related or education related purposes, especially for the outputs for the composite materials. So this is the basics of complete composite materials which we have discussed across. And coming to metal, we have one more session. Maybe Dr. Manjay sir is taking that session, especially related to the gas automation. That is the manufacturing of powder for the 3D printing, 3D printing of metals, where this powder is being manufactured using the gas automation. So maybe that session will cover this materials. I'll just show the materials which are there in the 3D printing ecosystem, where they are using these materials for their manufacturing. Preparation of materials of raw material powder, nanomicron powder, or raw materials for metal 3D printers may be covered in that session. So this metal 3D printing, whatever we see across, we have stainless steel, aluminum, we have chromium, tool steel, but not especially of this. There are so many materials, ALS at 10 mg. We have margarine steel, stainless steel, SS316, regular steel. We have so many of materials which we can manufacture using 3D printing. We have the titanium based alloys, chromium for medical related implants manufacturing. So there are so many materials which are already available. Just to create a know-how, we are explaining these materials we have a medical materials, we have engineering grade materials. In engineering grade also we have reactive materials, non-reactive materials. In that materials also we have certain materials which can be manufactured with certain dimensions in specific to the material, because in metal 3D printing we need to have machine dimension, machine build volume, machine properties, material properties, and also material compatibility for your end use part. These three should be considered before you go for the metal manufacturing. And also it's a costlier affair still, where your raw material is still costing you kg across 25,000 to 30,000 rupees of material powder. So if you see across these materials, which I just want to give you a glance, this 17.4 stainless steel, we have 316L also, we have 17.5 pH material also available, where it is specially used for mildly corrosive environments and also high strength requirements. This particular material is used in the machine manufacturing industry, chemical processing, food processing, pump components, valuing, fasteners, and jigs and fixtures. So we have a lot of materials. Stainless steel, especially 316 materials, is used for SS316 material is used for the chemical, petrochemical processing, where you have the corrosion resistance requirements. And also we have this food processing, chemical food processing, laboratory equipment, medical devices, and also marine applications, jewelry applications, power generation, petroleum refineries. So a lot of applications like pulp and paper industries, a lot of materials, a lot of combinations we can look across. Coming to the characterized H13 tool steel, this is a replacement of certain tools which we can directly manufacture using this material, and then those tools can be used for our extrusion dies or injection molding, hard forging dies, and also for the inserts and then cavities. And we have alloy 625. 625 is a nickel based super alloy characterized by its hardening and abrasion resistance, and we have this material being used in the jet engines, Navy marine applications, submarines, and aerospace applications, and also environmental applications and nuclear reactors. See, if you consider the 3D printing materials, you can't tinker certain material. All materials which are given by the manufacturer, we have to use, because machine is very costly, ranging from 1.8 crores to 10 crores. You should be very careful, and manufacturer doesn't allow you to tinker the materials. You can't combine your own material and tinker or do an experiment. What you can do is you can create certain designs. You can change the design orientations and manufacture it and do certain studies, or else in the functional areas where you can change the orientation and print it, or else you can calculate the strength related applications, and then we can do it. And we have the copper also. Copper is also being used in the 3D printing for our consumer industrial electronics, heat exchangers, and also antennas and inductors are being used in the copper. And we have 4140 chromium steel also being used for the connecting rods, pump shafts, pinions, also for the high strength and abrasive resistance, and also for the toughness related materials. So in this, to just have a glance of metal 3D printing powders, we get a titanium, aluminum. This is the forms which we get: stainless steel, margarin steel. We have cobalt, chrome, nickel alloys, and we have certain printers which are being coming with the rods also. So just to show you a video related to metal 3D printing, a 3 minutes video which will help you out for metal 3D printing, a new technology called bond metal deposition, which can be
Designed as an end-to-end solution, the Studio System is the first and only to deliver office-friendly metal 3D printing. The three-part system, the printer, debinder, and furnace, integrates with secure web-based software to deliver a seamless workflow to go from digital file to sintered part. Fabricate software constructs build plans from STL or native CAD files. Based on the user-defined parameters, material, and part geometry, Fabricate automatically adjusts the design for part shrinkage, constructs advanced support, and determines optimal orientation. The user can interact with the part and view precise tool paths through a dynamic interface. It then creates a unique build plan and identifies compatible parts from the queue that can be fabricated together. The system brings a wide range of critical alloys to 3D printing. Each alloy undergoes rigorous qualification by world-leading material scientists, whose expertise is at the core of the Studio System technology. Safe to handle, hot swappable media cartridges and quick-release printheads allow for easy material changes in a matter of minutes instead of hours or even days with other systems. In a process called bound metal deposition, metal rods, metal powder held together by wax and polymer binder, are heated and extruded onto the build plate, shaping the part layer by layer, similar to an FDM printer. The printer features automatic extruder calibration and bed leveling, based on a software analysis of the parts to be printed. There are two extruders, one dedicated to printing metal, and the other for an interface layer printed between the part and its supports. With no loose metal powder or hazardous lasers, this process eliminates safety requirements often associated with metal 3D printing, while enabling new features like closed-cell infill for lightweight strength. During the print, a removable print sheet is held in place by the vacuum bed beneath it, providing a smooth, secure platform. Once the print is complete, the vacuum disengages and the print sheet and part are easily removed from the printer. The flexible sheet is designed to allow for easy removal of the part without damaging it during transfer. In the debinder, the parts are immersed in fluid. As primary binder is removed, an open pore structure is formed throughout the part in preparation for sintering. With a low emission design, it requires no external ventilation. Automatic fluid distillation and recycling means there is no need to refill between each cycle. Once the cycle is complete, the parts are ready to go into the furnace. No protective gear or drip dry required. Fully automated and sized to fit through an office door, the furnace delivers industrial strength sintering in an office-friendly package. The furnace features two onboard gas canisters that are easily removed and equipped with RFID tracking devices. It is equipped with a disposable binder cold trap liner for safe and easy disposal of binder removed during sintering. Built-in temperature profiles are tuned to every build and material to ensure uniform heating and cooling. Heated to temperatures near melting, remaining binder is removed and metal particles fuse together, causing the part to densify up to 96 to 99.8%. Designed to simplify post-processing, the ceramic release layer printed between the part and its supports doesn't bond to the metal, enabling separable supports that are easily removed by hand. The result is a near net-shaped part with the strength, accuracy, and resolution needed for functional prototyping.
So this metal-based technology, which we are talking about, this is bond metal deposition. This is a new technology which has come up for manufacturing of metal 3D printing. So this is in the video I have shown you. This comes with an rod.
To sintered part
Here,
in the cube.
if you see this
Allow for
rod,
easy.
this rod helps you, comes inside, and then that rod is being melted and then forming the object. Afterwards, it is going to the debinder and then it is going to the furnace. These three-step process is coming out with the metal outputs. So this material, which today's session, which I'm talking about, even the rod-based 3D printing metal manufacturing is there, rather than the powder-based also. So this is coming from other company called Desktop Metal. So this is the metal materials which I want to discuss. Next, to close in another 5 minutes, I will just go for the questions. We'll be having the question and answer in 5 minutes. To just close with this ceramics, we need to know about these materials which are available in our 3D printing. We have the ceramic materials Zirconia 3Y and also Zirconia 8Y. And also silicon nitride is also available in the ceramic materials which can be 3D printable right now. There is a company called Ceram from European-based Italy country, I believe, that is being now using these materials: aluminium, alumina toughened zirconia ATZ, and also silica, alumina, and also hydroxy apatite, which is one of the topmost bone powder which is being used for manufacturing of the bone related components, which we can get the CT scan then, and then same part can be 3D printed. And also we have cordierite, right? This is also one of the ceramic material which can be 3D printed. So just giving a glance, not into depth, because should have a glance on these materials. So just to interestingly, we also should know about biomaterials. Biomaterials is also a 3D printing technology. In our 3D printing, we have the biomaterials which are creating the organs and also letting the cells to multiply. Biomaterial is a pretty new, you all know about the technology, especially in the medicine and the cosmetics. This bioprinting is playing very, very crucial role, especially the bioprinting applications, the drug screening and tissue models and tissue regeneration, scaffolds and microfluids. How this works, what are the materials in bio? This is selling bio ink, and also we have selling skin cells, selling bone cells. So these are the materials, cells which we get it. To have a glance on how this bio selling material, this is how it works. This is selling bioprinting. Which can, this is a nose 3D print, nose organ selling printing is happening now. We'll have sessions after this, another 4 slides. Question and answers. You can have your questions ready. Even put your questions on the chat box also. We'll take the questions and answers one by one. So this is selling biomaterials printing, which we do it for our 3D printing of materials. And coming to this wax, there is a material, wax materials are also being used. We have the wax material being 3D printed, especially the jewelry models. If you see this left side, you have the wax material. You have the golden material, which we can come out with this process. Conventional process takes 1 to 2 weeks. When coming to the 3D printing wax, and then that wax being, coming out with the liquid gold and then forming the object, we'll be making the object to come out with the gold. So this process is now from the casting to the jewelry process. So this complete process is the wax casting or jewelry 3D printing, which we talk about. So it's anyhow it's a lunchtime. Just to have, we can even 3D print the chocolate, pasta, and sugar also. So just have a closing to my session. Just run a food 3D printing. Pasta can be 3D printed like this. So this is how the thing, and Desktop Metal PSD3D is authorized partner for India. And coming to this next, shall we have a questions session? Organizers, maybe who is there? Srikanth, are you there? Or who is there? Rakesh, Srikanth, Manjay sir, Dr. Manjay sir. Anybody are there for questions?
Yes, participants, if anyone want to ask any question, please go ahead.
Thank you, Rakesh, for giving a wonderful lecture on this different materials. What all materials we can use it for this 3D printing? What all polymers? What all the AMF materials of this? Definitely, it is a very good session for the participants. Thank you. If you have any questions, please directly you can ask the Rakesh.
Any chat box questions, sir? Some questions I have seen.
Yes, sir, some questions are there in chat box. Mr. Prashant has asked what material is having lowest cost to practice in laboratory.
Can go with aluminum, sir. ALS at NMG you can use. That is the least cost which is available in the market for, especially for the metal. Coming to regular processes, you have all plastics are least less price only, sir. 1,000 rupees per kg is very least. Polymers is very less. If you consider for the metal, ALS at NMG may be the least price which you can get. G. Prashant, one more question has come. What is the maximum thickness can be print on the desktop metal machine with infill? Sir, we have 0.5 mm to 3 mm thickness. We can go ahead, sir. Maximum thickness. We have a variance which we can, depending upon the part, we can do it, sir. Next, I have seen one question from participant number 73 roll number Arun Sharma. Good afternoon, sir. If you have to use a particular material in particular machine, is there any 3D machine available in which we can use multiple materials? Sir, FDM one machine can handle more than 10 to 12 materials, sir. ABS, PLA, nylon, flexible, HDPE, LDPE, any material we can use in the if you come across with the plastic perspective. Coming to metal perspective, one metal machine can handle multiple materials. It will be giving the ecosystem. One machine only can handle multiple materials, sir. There are while if you purchase the machine only, they will give what are the materials it can produce. And next is same, as it's going to be a very costly affair. No, same question. So from the same person, sir, each machine, one machine, if you can purchase, the same machine can do multiple materials, sir. That is not an issue. Next, I have answered 57 Balasubramaniam G. And 107 G Prashant, what material is having lowest cost in practice in the laboratory? As I told you, in metal you can go for ALS at NMG. When you come to plastics, you can go with any of the PLA ABS material, 1000 rupees, 1200 rupees per kg. You can do the experiment, sir. Next, Arun Sharma. Secondly, how 73 is registered number? How can we bring down the material cost? See, material cost is majorly because of the process it follows and how the particles are being produced. That process is one which is having the cost. Remaining and all, I guess aluminum is now reduced to 4000 or 5000 kg. It is available LS at NMG. Serial number 71. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for the profound knowledge and the information shared with clarity. Thanks a lot, sir, in the area of bioplants. And about titanium, cobalt, could you please give us an overview of magnesium alloy used in bioimplants using with SLM technology? 71 serial number, Ashish Daniel. Thanks for the great question, sir. Thanks for your words. And also coming to the bioimplants, titanium and cobalt, right now it is lively available. There are companies, dental laboratories, which are manufacturing titanium and they are being used for the maxillofacial and also for the cranial flaps. We are now manufacturing it in the titanium and cobalt chrome. Especially titanium Ti64 is being manufactured, sir, and also being operated inside the human body also, sir. Coming to, could you please give us an overview of magnesium alloy used for bioimplants with SLM technology? Magnesium alloy, magnesium is bit problematic in handling because it is flammable. ALS at 10 mg magnesium is there in quantity of 0.6, 10, and also certain combinations they are using it, sir. All machinery, especially in NIT Warangal Bio Laboratory, 3D printing laboratory, they are using it, sir. And they have that material also. You can contact NIT Warangal. They are doing it as Sir, progress as of now in India, sir. A lot of educational institutions, IIT Hyderabad, IIT Bombay, NIT Warangal. There are almost top institutions. They have already taken the metal 3D printers, and those materials are being used also. IIT Palakkad, IIT Delhi, and also topmost institutions are having metal machines, sir. They are right now using for the manufacturing of the various products, sir. Next, thank you, Arun Sharma, sir, for your message. And coming to serial number 63, register number 63, Ravindra Andukuri. Sir, if you can prepare a nano composite material like ALI plus GNP, can we prepare any model by using 3D printing from this material? Sir, first and foremost, in my session also, I have given you, I told you, machine manufacturer doesn't allow you to tinker any of the parameters. You have to get the material nearby to their material, or else get manufactured to that material. Then only you can do it, sir. Then only this can happen. Otherwise, it will not allow you, sir. Mr. Ravinder, sir, this is the answer for your question. Always you should go to nearby to their materials. Then only it is possible to manufacture using the 3D printers. Dev 71 Dev, thank you so much for patiently answering your questions. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ashish, sir. Anybody have the questions, you can unmute yourself and then ask me the questions. We have another 7 minutes left for